Buc-ee's, there was Stuckey's. That's right, the ultimate road trip stop was Stuckey's. In 1937, W.S. Sylvester Stuckey Sr. started the Stuckey's business. He took out a $25 loan and began a pecan stand in Eastman, Georgia. He turned that into a candy-making stand where he created his infamous pecan log rolls, and I'm probably going to go in here and get one of those. Stuckey's became very popular for a road trip stop. In the 70s, they began to decline, and there wasn't as many Stuckey's around as there was to start with. Senior died, and his son took over the business, and currently, actually, his granddaughter is in control of the business, and they have had a rise, which is awesome. And there are now currently over 5,000 Stuckey's across the United States. My question for you is, have you been to a Stuckey's? We're going to go in here and look around. It's been a while since we visited a Stuckey's. Be sure and comment below and let us know. Have you been to Stuckey's? We're going to top off with some fuel. We're not going to grab Dairy Queen, but hopefully we can find some of those awesome pecan rolls. This is I-70 right over here, and this is exit, I'm not sure, maybe 82? I'll have to look at that. I'm not sure if that's what it is. And if you go on down the road, straight down that highway, that is where Nelson, Missouri is, and we're gonna go drive through there and see what there might be to see in that little tiny town. And we've got a couple of state historic sites to hit too. But let's go in here first. There they are, the famous pecan rolls. Boy, those are tiny compared to what I think they used to be. It's all right, I'm still getting one. You can get shirts, Stuckey's candies. Of course, you can get some fountain sodas or bottled soda, which is what we're gonna grab. I'm being followed. Is the little town of Nelson, Missouri. Population on the sign said 192. I think if I remember right, it never really got above like what? I don't think it ever got above 400. I think it was somewhere in the 300s. Tiny little town.
Don't even really see like any kind of a downtown or anything.
No.
Just a couple churches.
Yeah, got churches.
Maybe this is remnants of their old downtown. But
well, could be. They used to have a post office, but I don't know that they have one anymore. There's the Lions Club. And the mechanic shop. Very tiny little town. And the railroad does run through. We are about 4 miles from Nelson. This is the Sappington African American Cemetery. This is now a state historic site. Let's see. There was 5,000 enslaved African Americans in the 1860 census. The collapse of the hemp market and emancipation in 1865 resulted in many African Americans leaving farms and plantations. Many freedmen formed all-black settlements. Two nearby examples are Pennytown, which is located 12 miles southwest of Arrow Rock, which we are not very far from Arrow Rock. We did a video on Arrow Rock some time back. You can go check that out. And Cow Creek to the northwest. William Henry Joseph Cutter Brown was a national champion cakewalker. Josephine Jackson Lawrence, what did she do? Led to the preservation of the Pennytown Church and its listing in the National Register of Historic Places. That's interesting. Wonder what that church looks like. James Milton Turner investigated the condition of black education in Missouri. And Jacob Montgomery of Brownsville, which is now called Sweet Springs, I didn't realize Sweet Springs had been renamed, was a minister. This is the list, and I am not going to sit here and name all these off. If you want to pause and read the list, that's the list of everyone that is buried in here, I guess. So it's been here since at least 1856. It was first set aside as a burial ground for enslaved individuals. Members of Arrow Rock African American community continued to use it after emancipation in 1865 and into the 21st century. Looks like fire destroyed records in 1950s. There's a lot of unmarked graves or markers that have worn away, been misplaced or damaged. That's pretty typical of an old cemetery. Around 24 people that were enslaved by Dr. John Sappington was buried in this cemetery before his death in 1856. So that predates what they said a while ago, right? They just know it was at least 18, but it was obviously before. So those are some pictures of some things around Arrow Rock. And if you want to pause and read any or all of that. Here's the nice cemetery. This is very well kept, but it is a state historic site. And I think Missouri does a pretty good job typically of taking care of our state parks and historic sites. So you can see this is a pretty big area, and there's only really just a small handful of tombstones. Of course, we do have some snow on the ground. It's January, so there's probably some in where the snow kind of is divoting down. There's probably some there, and we've got some that are a little cockeyed. That one, she passed away in 1897. We were trying to find some really older ones. Let's see, this one is 1899. There is still a few. This white one way over here definitely looks older, so we'll go check it. Yep, I was right. Eliza Thompson, 1876 is when she passed. I don't know if there's more than one. Oh yeah, see, then we've got somebody else. Isaac is on this side. Doesn't have a date on it. I can't really read that one. Something looks like maybe 1861. Yeah, that's definitely old. Very old. We're just out in the middle of basically nowhere. There's snow here, so I can't get real close to the sign. This is the Sappington Cemetery State Historic Site. This is the burial place for Dr. John and his wife Jane Sappington. They are were one of Missouri's most influential families before the Civil War. There's 111 burials in this cemetery that are direct or extended family members of the two Sappingtons. We just came from the African American cemetery. This is that Dr. John. His slaves were the ones that were first buried over there in that cemetery. There's a governor buried here, Meredith Miles Marmaduke. Oh, another governor, Claiborne Fox Jackson, and then Governor John Sappington Marmaduke. I kind of can't get over that Marmaduke name. Makes me think of the big Great Dane. Yeah. Ooh, gotta be careful. There's like a dip or something here. Oh. So I don't know if there's maybe flat stones over there and it's just covered by the snow, because we've got some right here, or if there's just nobody over there. There is a flat one right there. That's a pretty neat. Wow. Fancy. This is Meredith Miles Marmaduke. Died in 1864. This one over here is pretty unique also. Claiborne Jackson. So this was probably one of the other governors. I believe that was the name of one of them. Died in 1862. He was only 56. And his wife was only 58.
If that had anything to do with town.
Oh, I don't know. A Nelson. Lucian Nelson. I don't know, but he was really young too. Original. Unique. She was a Marmaduke. She was only 21 or 20. No, Matt might say 24. Still. That's crazy. Died 1865. I don't feel like any of these people are all that old. He was only 26. Oh man, all the snow. This one. Oh, now there's one. He lived to be 77. Ooh, it's windy out here. Check this one. You see, I don't know if you saw the above ground ones there. Those ones always kind of creep me out a little bit. 26, 53. Well, this was a really interesting stop. I love old cemeteries anyways. I find them extremely interesting, intriguing. And I've got to mark a couple of more state park sites off my list. Well, we stumbled across this as we were leaving. The Brownlee School, one of the earliest schools in Saline County. Land was donated by Andrew Brownlee and teacher's salary paid by Dr. Sappington. First building was made of logs in the 19th century. Present building, constructed in 1933, was in operation until 1953. Look at that! How cute is that? I absolutely love old schools and old churches. It is so tiny. That is awesome. What a neat thing to stumble on.
This hill may be fun.
I decided to take a little detour on the way back and go ahead and find the Pennytown Free Will Baptist Church, which we did find. In 1871, Joe Penny, a freedman from Kentucky, paid $160 for 8 acres of land in Saline County. This was the first of 11 purchases to be made in the next 8 years by Penny and other black families in the area. By 1879, these 11 land acquisitions, each averaging 6 1/2 acres, constituted the 64 acres known as Pennytown, the largest of Saline County's historic black hamlets. In 1886, white landowner permitted Pennytown residents to erect a frame house of worship on his land. In 1894, church trustees purchased the land for $20. The building burned in 1924, but a new church was completed on the same spot by 1926. In 1988, the crumbling building was placed On the National Register of Historic Places, it was restored in '96 and stands today as the only structural reminder of the thriving community that once existed on this land and their successful vision of self-reliance. So this says the same thing on this side. And there it is. Oh, it is so cute. It is so tiny. And just to give you an idea, well, there's a farm right there, farmhouse right there, and then over here is just farmland. There's like nothing. It's just farmland. This is the cutest little church ever.